Welcome back to the ArcGIS Online manual based on river flooding in Armagh. This is exercise 3, which is based on the short-term emergency response to river floods. And this is part B, or part 2, tutorial 2. In this we are going to learn how a network analysis works and how accurate they are and how long it would take the emergency services to reach flooded homes. So following on from the last tutorial, we analysed the use of a straight line buffer, and we found that in this buffer it is 5,000 metres that the fire station could get to the very edge anywhere around this buffer in 6.5 minutes, and we were asking ourselves, how accurate is this? We found that it's maybe not as accurate as it could be, but it's still a pretty good representation. So in this part of the tutorial we are going to find a more accurate use. What I want you to do is turn off the 5,000 metre buffer for the fire stations, and I want you to turn on fire service response time 5 to 15 minutes. So if you click that on, a big layer appears. So it's a big white bit, big green bit, and if we zoom out quite a bit you'll find a bit of blue as well, as you can see. So that's basically, the layers are represented down in Keady as well, and based on their roads. But basically what it means is that everything within the white is represented as the fire station can get here in 5 minutes. Everything in the green, the fire station can get there in 10 minutes. And everything in the blue, the fire station can get there in 15 minutes. So we can tell that if we click on legend, it also tells us this information. So really it's a really good representation of how quickly the fire station can get to somewhere based on the roads. Because the network analysis is based on the road network. It's a very special kind of buffer, and it's coming from the fire station using the roads. How fast can we travel on these roads, and whether or not you're allowed to do U-turns on them as well. So it's just a more accurate way of representing how fast you can get to somewhere. But there is issues following this as well, because the road network is only updated a few times in a year, if even that. So really the question would be, would a local fire station know more information than that? They definitely would. A fire station would be well up to date on whether there's roadworks happening somewhere, and those roadworks would mean that you can't use that road. So that road may actually take you longer because you can't take that route that they're telling you, based on this network analysis, that you could definitely take. So there is issues following a network analysis as well, but that's just one of them. So what I want you to do is to zoom into Armagh, and I want you to turn on the flooded homes layer that we had turned on before. So it's just below Keady roads. If you click it on, we'll get our little red stars. So the question I posed in the manual is, how many of the flooded homes are within the 5 minutes, and how many are within 10, how many are within 15. So if we were to analyse the whole of Armagh's council district and had all of the homes of that, we might see that there's a lot more homes that are within like 15 minutes. But for just the Armagh town, the majority, apart from a couple at the outside here, the fire station could reach within 5 minutes based on our legend, if not 2.7. So really it's saying that this fire station, based on the roads, could get anywhere within all of these flooded homes within 5 minutes. This is very important if we think about floods in the short-term emergency response. If there was a massive flood and people needed aid, or someone had got injured, the fire station need to be able to get there. They need to be able to pump out people's homes. They need to be able to deliver things like food, and ensure that the electrics are off, things like that. That is the short-term response sort of things that they would do. So really just the question in the manual was to take into account the legend and how long it would take for the fire station to reach the majority of the homes in Armagh. So what I want you to do is click back onto content, turn off the 5 to 15 minutes fire service response time, and turn on fire services response time 1 to 5 minutes. So this one's a little bit different. Looking at Armagh alone, and we turn on the legend, we can see that all of this light yellow here, the fire station could get into any of these places within 1 minute. And everywhere that's orangey yellow, the fire station could get there between 1 to 2 minutes. And then anywhere that is red is between 2.5 to 5 minutes. So you can see that they can actually reach quite a lot of homes within 2 minutes, and they can reach almost all the homes within 5 minutes. So this is just a little bit more accurate. The lower the number of minutes you give, the more accurate it's going to be that they can definitely reach those people within this amount of minutes. So if we just sort of zoom out so that we can see the whole of Northern Ireland, just keep zooming out with the little minus button. We actually have the layer done for all of the fire stations in Northern Ireland, if not the majority. So some of them are not really as visible because the fire station symbol sort of takes up the space, but we can see that all of these places in between cannot be reached within 5 minutes. So all the areas that are still green, we can still see them clearly. That's saying that the fire station can't reach them within 5 minutes. But just looking at the map, if you just scroll around using the drag, what I want you to think about is, do you think any of these fire stations could be relocated? Or do you think there could be somewhere that looks like as though it doesn't have anything close to it, even if it would maybe take like a half an hour to get there? How many of these do you think we would need to add into somewhere as well? So thinking as well, you have to think of the terrain. So this is a very mountainous area up here. We don't really want to add a fire station on top of a mountain. We need to think about places like maybe here. This is quite grassy area. It might not be easily reached by Ballymena or Coleraine or Ballymoney. So we would need to maybe put one here, thinking on that. But if we also look at Belfast, look at how many of the fire stations are surrounding Belfast and Bangor, Carrickfergus, all of those places. There's a lot of fire stations in there. Do you think that some of those may be able to be relocated? You could zoom in and just have a wee look as well and see just who is being serviced by the fire station. So you can see the majority of Belfast is serviced within 5 minutes of a fire station. So if there was an emergency fire, although this may be a flooding manual, if there was an emergency fire, you would be easily responded to by our fire station within 5 minutes if you live in Belfast. But some of these could be relocated. What about this fire station? This could be moved slightly outside because it could be serviced by this one in West Belfast, and this one in North, this one in East, or South, sorry, and this one in East. So maybe this one could be moved to somewhere closer out here towards Antrim and Nuts Corner. That's just an example. So really that's just answering the question on your manual. So if we go back to Armagh, just like scroll over towards